We're here. We're here. Look, we're on a field trip.
Sorry for the weird angle. I just can't figure out how to do it so we can see. But hi.
Yeah, hi. Yay. I'm so excited to go on a field trip.
Me too. Go anywhere.
It's true. It's been a long time
in your greenhouse.
I know, amongst my people here, my friends. These are my good friends, my plant friends.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we decided today to, since as you can see, I'm inundated with plants, that maybe we do a quick herb and tomato. I've got some peppers too tutorial on how to put them in pots.
Nice.
So, yeah, a lot of people don't always have soil to put it in the ground and or the space, and so this is, or if you live in a smaller apartment or something, you don't have the room, this is a really nice way to get fresh herbs and vegetables and enjoy them and save some money, and they're always better fresh, when you
yeah, there's no comparison.
There really isn't. And I think people, it's really pretty simple. So don't worry if you do it wrong or anything. It's always, I always tell people, you can always just start over again. It's really okay. Don't feel like you have to keep a plant on life support. It will have a new life in the compost bin and help other plants in the future. And just go get another one or go reseed or whatever.
Like
don't.
The 9 lives of a plant.
It's really okay. Sometimes it's okay to say goodbye to the plants. So we are going to do a couple things today. We're going to plant. I've got these really nice big terracotta pots. So we're going to put tomatoes in here. We're going to put some peppers in this one. And then I've got this really cool planter. We're going to do a little Italian garden, herb garden in honor of you, Debriana. And then I have these cute little pots that I can show you how to make just single plants, because sometimes it's fun, like things like mint and other things. They don't play well with others. They need to be in their own pot. So
Holly, a lot of people ask about when to start planting, because if you live in a 4-season area, it's really iffy right now. And how do you know when it's ready?
So, actually the old-fashioned way, the Farmer's Almanac, which they still do, is a great way, because that's just sort of a historical record of your area. The other thing that I do, I'm in Northern California, so we have 2 seasons. We have brown and green. Those are our seasons. And, it's hard to tell, because this year our April was very cold. And I had a lot of customers that came to me and said, my basil didn't make it, and blah, blah. I'm like, because it's way too early. Basil likes the temperature to be around 70 to 80 degrees before it will germinate. So if you're even if you bought starter plants and you're putting those baby little plants in the ground and it's 42, 38 degrees at night, basil's not going to make it.
Yeah, it's the dirt that has to warm up.
Yep, you want the soil to be warm. So it's not uncommon for me. You can't really see, but behind me is my big garden. It's not uncommon for me to sow seeds in the ground in May and June. So it's really important that the soil is warm and ready. And that really is part of the problem. I think a lot of people get frustrated. They say, I have a black thumb. But the truth is that you're probably planting too early. And I know we get excited because of spring fever and Home Depot and Osh have all these plants out in February. And it's just too early. So
here everybody wants to plant their tomatoes right now. They are like chomping at the bit.
I brought mine today, but they're in the house.
Yeah.
Like our mother says, May 8th, do not plant anything before May 8th. That's her magic.
Mother's Day. Mother's Day is what typically here. Yeah.
I do here. It's sort of around tax day. So, formally tax day, April 15th. It's pretty safe to plant. The other thing you should do is if you're buying so I sell the little herb starts like this. One of the things you should do before you plant them in the ground, if you're worried about the temperature, I always call what's called hardening your plants. So keep them outside for a week, 2 weeks. Make sure you water them. Make sure they're not drying out in these little pots. But that will make sure that the plant will survive, and then it's ready to go in the ground. Most nurseries will already have done that for you. But if you're doing it yourself and you're starting things from seed, make sure you harden them when they get to a certain size, about 2 or 3 inches, and take them out of the greenhouse and put them out of doors and let them harden before you put them in the ground or in a pot. So pots, typically a pot will get much cooler just because it doesn't have the surrounding earth to keep it warm. So remember, your potted plants are going to get colder than your plants in the ground.
Yeah.
It's also good to keep them next to your house if you can, or a shed or something that's that reflects heat to keep them warm. And then, once it warms up, you can move them, or as long as they're happy, just leave them where they are. So it just depends. In general, though, the annuals just like more sun and more heat. Perennials can usually take because they're there. They can take wherever you get them. So that's sort of the do's and don'ts. Oh, the other thing is, when you're starting with soil, most soils now have amendments in them. So you're good to go for at least the first few months. What I always tell people is, once the plant starts fruiting or flowering, it's time to give it another hit of fertilizer. So if you add too much fertilizer at the beginning, it's actually overwhelming for the plant and can be bad for the root system. So just be careful, read your bags of fertilizer. I get EB Stone, which is a great organic brand. They already have their potting mixes and their potting soil with amendments added to them. And then I just add a liquid seaweed, Amigo Bob's, which is a great brand.
On Amazon.
On Amazon. And so I use that as a liquid nutrient to help them continue to grow. So it's important to fertilize, but it also can be detrimental to over fertilize. So I think people forget about that, because the stuff now comes with so much.
Yeah.
You don't really need it. So all right, well, let's start, shall we? Okay, so all your pots are going to have, or should, if they don't, make one. But your terracottas and all things that are already made for planting should have a hole in the bottom. That's for drainage. You need for drainage. And then what I like to do is find a rock or something. I got a lot of gravel behind me.
Find a rock.
Find a
Go
rock.
get a rock.
Wander around, find a rock, or you could buy them. I collect them in my little jar here, and so you just get one, and it's actually important that it doesn't fit exactly, because you want it to still drain. But this hole is so big. If I filled this with soil and I poured water in here, it's just going to be a flood, and so the pot's not going to hold enough water. So this is a good size rock here for this. Just lightly cover it. Again, you don't want to seal it because you still want water to go out. You just want to slow it down a little bit. All right, well, we're going to fill this baby here with soil. I don't know if you can see me. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. What are you going to put in that pot?
So we're going to do some tomatoes in here.
Okay. And what variety do you have?
So I like, of course, surprise, I like all the good culinary, like I always think of food. So the tomatoes I have this year are Juliet's, which are the little baby. They're like cherry tomatoes, but they're an oval shape. They're like a baby Roma, and they're so good, and they're beautiful in salads. You can slice them in half or just throw them in with cucumbers and a vinaigrette, or just eat them like grapes, because they come in those long, beautiful strands.
Yes.
So I have those.
Those are in the cookbook.
I know. And then my we're gonna put these in today. We're gonna put in San Marzanos, which San Marzanos are the Italian variety that they're called paste tomatoes, Paste, as in tomato paste, because if you slice them in half, the inside is full of really fleshy, very little liquid, and they're great for sauces. So this is your marinara. So no surprise, these are my favorites. And then the third one I am doing this year are called Celebration. Celebration are the perfect round, like camera ready globe ones that are great for slicing for sandwiches and caprese salad and things like that. So those are just the 3 I did this year, but there are so many.
Oh my gosh,
varieties.
there's so many.
So it's fun. We've got a couple places like Master Gardening places here that do just tomato plant sales, and they sell, 50 or 60 varieties. It's really fun to go and experiment. Just know that all of these that I have are hybridized, so you're going to get a lot more fruit. If you get the heirlooms, which are delicious, just know you're going to want to get a lot of them, because most heirlooms are only going to produce, depending on where you live, but where we are, you may get 10 tomatoes, you may get 15, but you're not going to get these prolific amounts of tomatoes. So if you really love a specific heirloom, get a couple plants because you're going to want them, because you're going to you're going to watch those tomatoes and just, you're going to count, you're going to know you have 6 and and then you have to have a party when you eat them because it's so exciting. But it's not like you're going to go out every day and pick this like beautiful heirloom and have one every day. So just, be aware of that. Okay. So fill your pot, about 2 inches from the top. And again, this is already amended potting soil. So we're going to take our San Marzanos. Yep. That's what these are.
And is that like a 6-inch pot or a 4-inch pot right now?
So this is actually a big pot. So this
no, the little one, the little
ones. Yeah, these are 4-inch pots. Okay. They're made from recycled paper. They're organic certified. So my plants are all organic. These are certified to be put in organic, so not outgassing or releasing any gross toxins or anything. And they're really great. So sometimes, they say you can plant these directly in the soil. Yeah. I did a side-by-side comparison last year, and I have to say, with the exception of mint, which will grow aggressively anywhere, it's better to take them out. Yeah. So the easiest way to do that is if they're wet, it's paper, so you just rip it. And actually, the good part about ripping it is that you can see when I'm ripping it. See the root system's already in there, the little white. That's the tomato root system that's been in here. So, and these were all started from seed. So these were just little tiny babies.
Oh, now they're nice and big. Cute.
I know. So tomatoes, you always want, this one's really in there. So if you see in the tomato plant, there are these 2 little leaves right here. These are the first leaves. And these are leaves that come from germinating when you this is the first 2 things that pop up when you're doing it from seed. And those of you that do that won't know that. It's really important that you bury this plant past these 2 here. Okay. So when you're buying these at the store, and I even sometimes go up to the 2nd tier.
Yeah, I do.
If you'll notice, tomatoes have all this. If you can see in the light or rub your fingers on it, there's these little hairs here on the tomatoes, and those are all future root systems. So it's really good to bury them at least, 2 inches?
Yeah.
And make sure you really get these first leaves under the soil.
I just totally learned something because I did not know that.
Oh, I always put mine in. You can bury that, like if you get a bigger plant, you can put it down in it and it will start rooting.
It's really important.
That's so cool. Tomatoes are really cool.
Tomatoes are one of those things that's really satisfying to grow, just because they're quick, and it's an easy result. And that's why I love peppers too. Peppers are one of my favorite things to grow because they just, I gotta get my little thing here.
Well, they're tropical plants, really, tomatoes are. So they just like crawl and grow. I mean, if you had the right environment, that's what they would do. They just
certain people, tomatoes are perennial, and if you don't get frost, they'll come back. Okay, so we're gonna
I get random tomatoes sometimes in the yard.
Yeah.
If you didn't harvest all your tomatoes, they're full of seeds, so they could potentially reseed. It doesn't happen often, but in the right circumstance, it can. Tomatoes, you can also seed save too. So if you're growing some of those beautiful heirlooms and you loved it so much, that's for another day. We'll do that once we have tomatoes.
Yeah, save the seeds.
Seed saving. That's really fun too. Okay, so these are going to get buried here, as you can see. So I left about 2 inches on the top, and then we're just going to take some more soil and fill this.
And how big is that big pot?
This is about I think it's a 14-inch, and it's at least a foot tall. So the thing about tomatoes is that you want it deep. See, this is a nice deep pot. It doesn't necessarily, and we're only going to do 2 plants in here. And eventually I'm going to put a cage around this, and they're just going to go up. So you got to be most important thing with tomatoes is you want the pot to be deep.
And if you get a tomato in a happy place, in a pot, you can grow a lot of tomatoes.
Oh, you definitely can.
In the ground. It does not have to be in the ground.
Okay, so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to add one more thing, which is a marigold. So I always add marigolds to.
I always do that too.
To my tomatoes. These came from my little starters. So, but if you would buy them, tap them out. Same thing. So as you see, we're going to put the 2 tomatoes right here, and then we're going to plant a little marigold right here. marigolds are wonders in the garden. They're natural pesticides. The flower petals are all edible. So for things like tomatoes and basil that are kind of bug attractors, I always, in fact, in my real big garden, I do a whole border of marigolds around because that'll help keep the bugs off. Okay. So there we are. There's our cute little pot. See?
Oh,
and we're gonna really gently give it some water, just so the root systems. They were pretty wet to start with, but I always on the first go here get them nice and wet.
Yeah, I do. I add basil sometimes around my. I have a big garden though, so I plant basil, garlic, and marigolds around my tomatoes.
That's a great idea. There's a whole, a companion planting. Roses love garlic. There's all these different plants like to be next to one another and can be beneficial. But marigolds are one of the sort of universal.
Yep.
They're
and when they in the fall when they start to go, that you can pull those little pods off. They have all the seeds are right there.
Yes, they're these weird little long black sticks almost. So those are great. So see, our drainage is working. That's good. So we're getting good drainage, but not too fast. So this guy's ready to go. So we're going to take it.
Also, you could do Marguerite daisies it's the roots that the worms and stuff eat, and it has that pyrethrin in it. Right. In the root.
And there you go. So we're going to do, now we're going to do some peppers. These peppers are, I have two varieties of peppers this year. One, because these are peppers that I use in my products. So one is the California Wonder, and it's a bell pepper. It has no heat, and they grow in these cute little heart shapes, and they're so adorable, and they have really good flavor. They're much more intense than a regular bell that you find at the store. And I started growing them a few years ago. I just love them. So.
Well, yes, there is a giant marigold. That is a variety. There's lots of varieties. There's one that's striped red and yellow. It looks like a clown.
There's variegated. The one actually I have some variegated ones. This variety is called.
I like the flat French ones.
Yeah, I do too.
There's one called I think it's Moonsung, and it literally is the shape a size of like a tennis ball. It's huge.
Yeah, they're huge.
Those are fun too. So, okay, so those are our tomatoes. So let's do our peppers. So I do the California Wonders, and then I do the Chile de Arbol, which Chile de Arbol is a very popular Mexican variety. All peppers come from Central America and Mexico originally, and then spread, throughout the continents. So they, here in California, they grow great. And of course, New Mexico is known, Southern New Mexico is known for all their amazing.
We have so many chilies, we don't know what to do.
A lot of chilies. So we can do two things. We could put one, a hot pepper and a bell pepper in here and do both. Or we could just do hot peppers. I think I'm going to do just the hot peppers in this and do 3 of them. So that way we have a nice shrub, like a bushy, with little hot peppers you can go pick. So
I'm looking at these now. I'm getting really excited.
I know. I went to the nursery today, but I put in.
We can't do it yet.
Well, I put in Swiss chard. Swiss chard is a cold. You have to put potatoes and garlic in now, which is what I did.
So these guys are little babies, but they've been fun. So these are the little Chile de Arbol. They're little babies.
Cute. What about onion? And I put
onions are this tall already.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, you can put your onions in. So I'm going to do 3 of these. And we're going to.
How big are those going to get, Holly? They're
going to probably, the Chile de Arbol can get about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. Okay. And what's really funny is that they'll be covered in peppers, but they're all green. And then we'll get one heat wave weekend or 2 couple really hot days. And it's like Christmas tree lights. All of a sudden they come out and they're all red. And then I frantically harvest them. But it's really fun. I love growing peppers. Peppers are another one, like tomatoes.
Peas are early. Peas are an early plant. It goes in the spring if you're going to plant peas.
Okay, we're going to do one little marigold here in the middle, just so they have a friend. And eventually, what's going to happen is these marigolds are going to, especially in pots. Now, if this was in the ground, you'd be doing this much farther apart.
Yeah.
But especially in the tomatoes, the marigolds are going to get out. The tomatoes will outpace growing the marigold, which is fine. And eventually it will be in the middle and you won't even be able to see it. But it will continue to protect the plant, especially when the new growth is happening at the very beginning is when you really need it. So don't worry about going and fishing it out and getting it. It's fine. All right. So there's our cute little peppers. And I'll take some pictures now, and then I'll take pictures, in a few weeks, and you'll see how big.
Yeah.
Then we give these guys get a drink. Again, gentle water. Don't over do the sprayer on too hard.
Because they're babies.
Now, would you put a tray or a dish underneath yours, or just
you can. Yeah, it depends on where you're putting it. If you've got an area that you don't mind the draining happening on it, you don't need it. But just be careful with the trays sometimes because they can hold water, and if you overwater, then the roots can get too wet in there. It'll stay too wet. So just watch it. If your tray's got water in it, try to make sure it's evaporating. Okay.
I didn't sneeze.
I don't grow asparagus here, but I know people who do. And that once you plant it, kind of takes over from what I understand.
It can be very, very prolific and kind of aggressive. You put it in an area, it loves the shade. So put it in a shady area. See, this one's for you, Debriana.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'd send it, but it's a little heavy. So what's fun about this shape, can you see it?
Yep.
What's fun about this shape is that you can do a whole row. And this is fun to put, like if you have a windowsill in your kitchen or, so you can just go clip your fresh herbs or a little table outside. It's nice to just have all your sort of kitchen herbs. Since I like to, of course, do them by theme or what I like to cook with the most. So we're going to do some Italians for you, darling.
Thank you.
Debriana. So we're going to get some rocks in here. Cover that up. And let me get some soil in this baby.
While you're doing that, someone says, remember to get vaccinated so we can end this damn pandemic. Yes, we couldn't agree more.
Hey, I am fully vaccinated as of tomorrow.
I think the three of us all are. I am.
Yep.
You are too, Holly.
I got my second shot yesterday.
Look at you. It's not even affecting you.
I was tired earlier today, but other than that, I felt okay.
That's great. My husband was fully vaccinated as of Monday.
Yeah, my husband is too. So and my son, my 16-year-old son, got his first one. So he's getting there. Okay, so this same thing, we don't want to fill it all the way. And we're gonna put in oregano. Okay.
Yeah.
Yum.
And there's lots of varieties of oregano.
Yeah, this is actually Greek oregano. Sorry, it's not Italian.
Yeah, well, there's Mexican. There's
Mexican.
All kinds,
yeah, there's Vietnamese. I mean, I like the Greek oregano. I find it's very pungent, so a little goes a long way. And I like it fresh. Fresh oregano is really different than dried oregano.
Way different.
And we do a lot of chimichurri, so you use fresh oregano, and I like the Greek in the best of that. So we're gonna take we're going to put this in. And these, we want to keep kind of even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do oregano. Let's do 2 oreganos because I like to make these nice and full. They're going to get really big.
Yeah, they look so pretty when they're full.
I know. Okay, so we're going to do 2 oreganos, and then we're going to do some.
Where will you put that, Holly? Where will you put that planter?
I would put this just outside my kitchen. Outside just on my sliding doors here on the patio. This is ideal, just because you can walk out. You want to put it someplace where you're going to go get it. If you have a big enough
full sun. Oh
yeah, they can handle full sun. Now the basil's a little more. It's kind of like filtered light or morning or afternoon shade because too much intense sun can kind of bleach out the leaves a little bit. But once they get established, they can handle full sun. I know. There's somebody let the dogs out. There's a song about that. Okay.
Yeah. We should write a song.
If only. Okay, so I'm going to put a little. So these guys are really babies, so we're going to put a little more soil in here. Because they don't.
I got lemon thyme today and marjoram.
I love lemon thyme.
I do too.
Where did you get it, Debriana? Where did you buy it?
At Agua Fria Nursery because they do organic gardening there. And so, yeah, most of my English thyme, a really hardy one, made it wintered over. I had thyme all winter.
I have several things that have wintered over. My chives wintered over.
Yep.
My
Parsley, I had it all year. Yep.
Oregano, all the mint, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I keep thinking that this funny little leek that I planted when we were doing our Corona kitchen thing last summer, I think it survived. It's turning green.
Oh, that's awesome.
A leek. If that isn't global warming, I don't know what it is.
Well, the other thing I heard is to mint near your tomatoes is good. So I actually pulled some mint out and potted it and put it near my tomatoes because it's too invasive to plant with them. But apparently some bugs don't like mint either. So.
Well, there you go. Well, I guess I mean, anything that has a high oil content that's a camphor or a mint like that, critters don't always like sages and rosemary. All right, and this is Italian flat leaf parsley. My
fave.
One of my favorites, but don't tell the rest of the herbs I said that. They get very upset if I get
no fighting in there.
No playing favorites.
Pairing flavors with the herbs.
I know people ask me that all the time at the farmer's market. They're like, "What's your favorite?" I'm like, "I can't have one. The others get jealous. It's not good.
That's
It's not healthy." Okay, so we're just gonna fill in here where the oregano was because that was in a larger pot. So we've got our oregano, we have our basil, and we have our parsley. So this is going to be a nice Italian.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. What? Forget about it.
Some vegetables.
Forget about it. Okay. So, and these little guys, the parsley and the basil were really small. So so I did 3 of them.
And you did regular Italian basil in that one?
I did. This is flat leaf Italian. Yep. All right. So that's. You see?
Oh, it's good.
So same thing. Let's give her a drink here. And I mean, if you wanted to put marigolds, you could put them in here. You don't really need them. These guys are all going to be good. So I kind of like to go around the edges first, just to soak it, and then make sure you get all the dirt off the actual plant. So, because if it sits on there too long with all those amendments on it, it can discolor or kind of burn them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just give everybody gets a good drink.
So many pointers.
We're thirsty.
I know. Okay, everybody's happy now. Now you all get to live together in Little Italy here.
How often do you water?
Again, depends on where you live, but the rule of thumb is this. So I'll show you this. So this is chamomile. So take your finger and scratch down about 2 inches. Okay. If it's moist, you do not need to water. So soil should be moist, not wet. When you put your finger down and it's dry, it's time to water. So it's just a rule of thumb. It's kind of deceiving because sometimes the very top layer of soil will dry out. Mm-hmm. And so you think, oh, it's thirsty, it needs water, but it doesn't. Make sure you dig a little bit. Just be gentle. You don't want to be disrupting any roots, especially with baby plants. But I just give them a little scratch. Just make sure, see how wet it is. Okay.
I think a lot of people overwater plants and kill them.
It's really easy to do unless you do the finger.
And also if you have drought tolerant plants like rosemary and sages and some of the thymes, they don't need a lot of water. Those you water them really well and let them completely dry out before you water them again. They'll be much happier. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So that's our Italian stallion here. Let's move her over here.
The Rocky Balboa plant.
Okay. Okay. So next these are just some fun singles. So these are pots that I used a little craft paint because I'm crafty, and then sanded them
like that.
I've sanded them because I need more projects, and then you seal them with like this terracotta pot sealer, so it doesn't get all runny and gross and get into your plant. So these are super fun, super inexpensive to buy at the gardening store, made in Italy. Great. So I love planting in these. These are really fun because they're just, and you can do different colors if you want, and they're fun just to put on like steps if you have them or whatever. So
I do all the time.
Yeah. Our sister Heidi has at least 15 of these on her deck.
And Heidi
collects them.
Heidi has a thing, we'll just say, where and they even did this in Stephen's wedding, where she likes to whitewash terracotta or with any kind of colored paint that's milky paint, like that kind of paint.
The chalk paint.
Then
Which
she
is
takes
this.
a little rag and she like makes it look all antique-y, And it's really
it's a little shabby chic. It's a little shabby chic.
really cute, and she's addicted to it. She can't stop.
So this is the mojito mint. Remember when you saw it last? It was teeny tiny. Now it's huge. This has to go in its own container. It's a very aggressive grower, and the more it spreads, the less menthol you'll have. So it's not even good. And then it'll just be an awful invasive weed. So this is a small container for it, but this is plenty because you're not, it depends on if you really drink a lot of mojitos. You can put it in like one of those larger pots I had before.
You might need a big one, or like our mother who has a gigantic mojito.
Exactly. It's all proportionate to your mojito consumption.
Your love of mojito.
Right. So these, same thing, you fill it with a little soil, put the pot in. Now you want to go a little below the line here with the plant, and then gently sprinkle in more soil. And you don't go all the way to the top, just stop short of the top, and know when you water, that's going to sink in. And there is your cute little mint.
It's so cute. Why don't you make another one?
It's so cute. I will. Okay. So we're okay. That's it. I just love these. And I sell a ton of these at the farmer's market because they're so fun. Okay. So that's that one. So you can do, your individual basil. So I like to do the medicinals are fun in here too. And this is this chamomile that has gotten so big. This a week ago was half the size. So this is going to get about 2 feet. These in the ground can get up to.
Chamomile is it?
It's German chamomile. So there's German and Roman. I prefer German. It's a little better medicinal, and it's what a lot of the naturopaths use in there. So this is what I use in my salves, in my teas. It's a wonderful soothing plant. And I have to say, if you don't like chamomile because you think it tastes like dirt, which it kind of does when it's dry, has an earthy quality.
Yes.
If you drink it fresh, pick the flowers, put them in your tea to steep it. It tastes like honey. It has this nice, very mild honey flavor, and it's fantastic. So, and it's a great sleep aid. So we have our little rock in here. We're gonna fill this.
You want to buy a rock, Holly? Want to buy a rock?
Our first entrepreneurial venture.
I tell that story in the cookbook. Here's Holly and I. We're like 6. We're like 7 and 4. Knock, knock. Hey, want to buy a rock? We just went around.
We at least painted them.
We put them in a wagon. We asked people if they wanted to buy a rock, and people did buy them.
We had the nicest neighbors. So anytime a kid comes to our house selling anything, I have to buy it. So it's karma.
Oh, that's out over the airwaves now.
Yeah. Oh, they know. The whole neighborhood knows I'm a sucker. They always come here first.
Sucker.
Let's go to the Alcalays. She'll buy anything. Okay. So and there's our cute little chamomile.
Aww.
So another fun thing to put in here is catnip. So if you have a kitty cat.
Yeah, I have that around my house. They're happy.
I've got a bunch of customers that again, if they don't, sometimes you go and you get really excited at the nursery and you buy all these plants and you get home and you forget to pot them and then they die in the little pots. So it's fun.
You kind of have to do it after you pot them.
Plants.
Make a day of it.
Yeah,
Make a day of it.
It does require some planning, and it's very easy to do impulse buys because you can't help it. And I'm the worst at that. So okay, so
don't let me loose in the nursery.
I know it's not pretty. So this is. Let's get some catnip here.
We have it. I have a pretty big pot of it.
So these are. It smells really good. This is actually a great tea for humans. It's a sedative, so it'll knock you out. So I'm going to use 2 of these.
Knock yourself out.
Because I want to have a nice, mound of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this has a really pretty flower too when it flowers.
Yeah, it does. They're really pretty.
So this is a nice decorative. Even if you don't have a cat, it's a nice decorative plant to put in your garden. So we're just going to create a little hole, put these guys in. So just so you guys can't see this, but I'll bring a tray over. So this is how I see these trays.
Oh yeah.
So this has about 180 plants in it. And so this is where they start. And then from here, I step them up into the pots.
Mm-hmm.
So did you, that tray, Holly, you just did that with seeds?
Yeah, we did that with that. Well, that goes with seeds. And this one is 288. So that's 288. This is the peppers. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Crazy, baby.
But it's a great, I mean, if you have to do a lot and you don't have a huge space, it's the way to go. That's how the nurseries do it. And then I get some from the nursery like that too. Okay. So this is our, there's our cute little
cat mints.
a little thing for the
Kitty
cats.
needs love.
What is it
Cashew.
like
Too
when
bad you guys
try
weren't
to
close.
catnip? What does it do? Is it like marijuana? What does it do to them?
My customers will say that they either it either gets them really relaxed or gets them super hyperactive.
Right.
Okay, I was just wondering.
I planted it originally in my garden because we don't have a cat, but our neighbor had a good hunter cat. And I have gophers, so I planted it to entice the cat to come over. And then I found the cat lying in its back, like stoned out of its mind in the catnip. I was like, you're not doing your job here. You're sleeping on the job, stoned in the middle of the day. Not good. So
How long
I pulled it out and dried
what
it.
take to germinate? Every seed is very different. I'm not sure which seed you're asking about to germination.
So
You have to read the package on every packet of seeds, and there'll be specific instructions.
Yeah, germinating is a very it can be really tricky. Some things are super easy, like nasturtiums and marigolds. You throw them over your shoulder and
Cosmos.
yes, those are all really easy. But some things, basil is actually pretty tough. So it just depends on
It takes a long time.
Yeah, it depends on what level you're trying to go to. The truth is you can buy these little organic starts like mine. I mean, these are 3 for $12, so they're $4 each. So and
you don't have to worry about it.
I want people to try to germinate because it's a good thing to know and to try to do. But if it fails, and it may, and that's okay, then just go buy the plant. It's okay. I'm forgiving you of any plant guilt. You've been released from that.
Guilt-free gardening.
Yeah, guilt-free gardening.
Yes,
I mean, I tell you, people
No judgment.
Okay.
no judgment. Corona Kitchen, no judgment. Yeah, people come to me and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm like, it's okay. It wasn't your child. Child's okay. Child's good. Okay, good. It was just a plant that killed. So just go plant another one. It's okay. I'm not going to call the plant police, and nobody's going to come take your garden away, put a child protective gardening services or whatever. It's all good. So anyway, that's potting 101.
Woo!
Super fun. Try, if you don't want to commit to a big garden or anything, it's a great way to be able to get fresh herbs and bring some butterflies and bees and make them happy around your house, and then you can enjoy them in your food. So there you go.
Let's see. My weakness is lavender plants. I buy them and I put them in the little paint pots. I love them so much.
Yeah, I do too.
When I first started this business, I told my husband, I was like, so what if I just did lavender? There's like 30 varieties of lavender I could grow, just lavender. And he's like, you may want to diversify just a little bit. But I would grow just lavender if I could. I'd love it. I
love it.
I've got some huge grossos. I don't know what they're so happy this year. They're enormous. I've got a couple other French Provençal varieties. And,
they're so pretty.
Yeah, they're just, I love lavender. So
how about too much sun? We have little shade. How about it?
Well,
same thing. Check the tags for full sun. That's what you want to make sure everything can survive full sun.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do the little babies, the peppers and tomatoes love a lot of sun, but when they're little babies, sometimes it's too much. So just, you can move them into a shadier place, and then when they get a little bigger, move them, or just keep an eye on them. New Mexico has intense sun because of your high altitude.
Yeah, we don't know where you are, whoever's asking that question, where you live, but for example, our cousin who lives here, and I'm sure you do this too, Debriana, they take they made a little like gazebo where they put a, sort of potato sack thing that over it, like a little, covering, and sun gets through, but it doesn't kill everything.
Yeah.
Because the sun can be so harsh here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you just want to be a little gentle.
A canopy.
Oops. I think Hollie's talking.
Holly, are you saying something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Santa Fe. I do cover. You have to be careful with sun here. When it says full sun, sometimes it doesn't mean full Santa Fe sun.
Right.
So do you see the shade behind me?
Yeah.
So you can get shades, how you order them, these sunshades. This is a 30%. So this cuts 30% of the light. And it's pretty, it's kind of like a fishnet.
Yeah.
And so I have this here for these guys down, and can you see them all in there?
Yeah.
Incredible.
So they like that. So I find when they're this size and they're still germinating, it's better to have a little bit of shade for them. Once they get bigger, they can handle it. But when they're babies like that, you got to be careful. And then some I have under a full tent because they only want like the baby tomatoes can't handle the full sun yet because it bleaches them out.
Someone's asking, how do you know a plant is happy? Well,
if you're happy and
well, a lot of it's in the color. Look at the color. Yeah. So you want, plants have vitality. And so you want to look at the color and see that they're a nice, vibrant green. Different plants have different shades of green, but in general, you want it to be a nice, rich, deep green. You want to see that the stems are really strong. And it's not wobbly. If it starts to wilt and look, then it's either too wet or too dry and it yellows. And that's the time to either think about your watering and maybe add some amendments to fertilizers to target some of the issues.
Like you don't feel good, you're sort of like this.
Yeah.
I feel like a wilted sunflower most of the time.
What happens to plants when they're happy. They're upright, they have energy, and
they do. And they're, you have to, I always say plants are like pets. You have to water them, you have to take care of them, you have to feed them, talk to them. It's good, and just check in. And also remember plants have a life cycle. So there's going to be a point where they peak and then they're going to start to go to seed. And then they're either like some things like zucchini and squashes, they're going to get that powdery mildew. And that's just what the plant does. You didn't do anything wrong, but it's time to pull it out. Yeah. And then put it in your compost bin. So, there's a life cycle. And so it's not like you got to go out there and don't spray anything on that powdery mildew. So that just means the zucchini plant's done. And it's just time to
my watering system. Squeeze, water. Yeah. The only watering system I have. And my finger.
Hand watering is really great if you have the time, because then you can really monitor it. But if you don't, drip is great because drip systems use a lot less water. They're more water efficient. And especially if you're not going to be able to, come home every night or every morning water. I generally water in the morning. Lots of people have read everything about when you should do all that. I find that when it's colder, I watered at night so the soil's nice and wet, so it keeps the plant warmer. But once it starts to heat up, it's really important that the plant have enough water to sustain itself through a warm day. And sometimes when it's really hot, I'll do a little sprinkle at night even, if we get triple digits.
Yeah. Yes, I actually do talk to my plants. I do. Whenever I pick an herb, I always say thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a good, gardening is a really meditative, wonderful thing. You can get frustrated for sure. But like I said, forgive yourself, forgive the plant, and just start over. Like, don't worry about it. So,
our grandmother used to say, my garden is my therapy.
Your therapy. Yep. So, it's a good thing.
It really is. You just have to hang there.
Thank you. Everybody seems to have a lot of questions.
That's it.
And they got answered, and we're happy.
Yay.
That was fun, Holly. Thanks. We want to go to the garden.
All right. I'm off to a soccer game now, but surprise. But I'll post some pictures of the plants, and if you have any more plant questions, just post them and I'll try to answer what I can.
Yeah. Thanks
Thanks,
very much for asking us.
Thanks.
Good luck on the game.
Yay, go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
Thanks everyone for all your questions. That was fun.
Go plant a plant. I hope to be planting this weekend.
Ah,
Yay.
I did today. Bye.
Grow your